My name's Katie. I'm the general manager of Credit Innovation Group. I got involved with them like 2 years into its creation. And I was able to get involved because I was really passionate about helping people go from ineligible to get into homes to eligible. And that was something I didn't see people doing in the industry. And so I thought that was a superpower. So I wanted to be a part of it. I originally got involved with helping people become home ready as a loan officer. I have a lot of experience in the mortgage industry. I started as like the person who scans one piece of paper in at a time. And so it was really cool to learn all the different pieces of the mortgage industry. My favorite job was as an originator, which I started originating right as I turned 18. And when I turned 18, my branch manager didn't want to spend a lot of marketing dollars for me. So I got to work with everyone who wasn't quite ready to qualify. I didn't have any of the tools that we have at CIG, but I was able to just talk to people and help them understand what credit was. And while I made a huge difference for a very small number of people, I wasn't closing a ton of business, right? In the mortgage industry, the name of the game is to give people loans who can already qualify for them. So there wasn't a good venue to help people who don't quite qualify but really want to get into a mortgage. And there's so much education that has to happen. How would I define the term home ready? For me, home ready is something that you can become before you get to a lender. Okay, once you go to a lender, you're gonna pull credit. It's the very first step. And if your credit scores are low, you're not gonna get further through that process. You might run into an LO here and there who wants to give you tips on fixing your credit, right? But usually that's the end of the conversation. The problem is, even if your credit was in place, there's so much more that has to come into play. So a lot of people go through that process and then go and work on their credit. And even when their scores come in place, they still get denied. What the Home Ready Guide is to me is taking these big pieces that are going to come into play when you're in the mortgage process and getting them as powerful as possible. So we call it the 3 C's of credit. If you have really powerful credit and really powerful cash flow and really powerful capital, which is like a down payment, right? You can get a mortgage. But if you are weak on 1 or 2 of those things, you can make up the difference by being stronger on certain items. So the way we help people become home ready is we work on getting a super powerful cash flow, which means their debt to income ratios are in line. We help people understand capital, right? Down payment, 401k, maybe programs that don't require down payments. And then we help people build up their credit. And if they're weak in 1 or 2 of those things, a super powerful credit score means less down payment. A super powerful cash flow or good DTI means more mortgage amount, right? Those 3 C's are the most important piece. And then when it gets very detailed, that's stuff only a lender can tell you. So our job is to help you become home ready. Then we send you to a lender. A lender's gonna tell you any of the other missing pieces that only a lender and an underwriter can get into. The most important factors to help people become home ready are, first of all, just your basic mortgage application process. Like, you need to have stable or increasing income. You need to have a game plan to purchase a home either with a down payment or with a loan program that doesn't require one. And you need to have the credit score in place, right? That's I would call that the first step. An even more important step would be the commitment to understand why homeownership is so important and why it's so powerful. Becoming home ready is possible for every single person. I've never seen a customer come to us that is incapable of becoming home ready. So it's gonna take a commitment. As long as you understand that there is a way, becoming home ready, the most important piece of becoming home ready is understanding the power of home ownership and being dedicated to get it for you and your family. What are the most common issues with becoming home ready for our average member? So Credit Innovation Group often markets to people who are specifically credit challenged, right? So having a low credit score is just the number one issue. What people don't understand is almost any credit score can get into a mortgage. For example, let's say you might have, like, USDA wants to see that you have a 640 credit score. But they are going to require that you have much better debt to income ratios, all right? If you want to go down to a 580 credit score, you can do that with FHA, but you need a much higher down payment, right? So while credit is usually the number 1 issue for our consumers, we really like to go, in the Home Ready Guide, we focus on non-credit items, okay? So the Home Ready Guide is going to talk about, have you filed your taxes in the past 2 years? Do you have 30-day lates on certain types of accounts in the last 6 months to a year? Or do you have recent bankruptcies or foreclosures that are going to get in the way? A very common one would be, do you have stable or increasing income over the last 2 years, especially during the pandemic? 30% of all of our consumers come to us with student loans, If your student loans are in default, a mortgage lender is not going to touch that deal. So one of the biggest pieces that we help with our home ready customers do is we have them go through our student loan department, of course at no additional charge, and we help them get their student loans out of default and into a repayment method so that having student loans doesn't have to get in the way of owning your own home. How long does it take to become home ready? So we can give you like averages of what our customers do or what our customers see to become home ready, but it so depends on your exact credit profile, what you're trying to accomplish, your goals with home ownership, the loan products you're trying to get into. That's such an intricate question, and there's so many pieces that are also outside of your control. Once you become qualified for a home, the average loan closing process is like 90 days to purchase a new home. But there's just so many things that can get in the way of that. And so I wouldn't say what the average time is to become home ready. What I would say is that everyone can become home ready as long as they don't give up. Like, it's whatever comes first, you giving up or you becoming home ready. And that's how it works at CIG.